to the learning session about application examples within the pulp and fuel projects. It is the techno-economic assessment, life cycle assessment, and social life cycle assessment. The presenters are me, Sofia Klugman, and Nilay Elginöz. We work at IVL, Swedish Environmental Research Institute. So I'm a researcher and project manager at the Institute, and my expertise is within industrial energy and climate transition. The Techno-Economic Analysis aimed at estimating the production cost for bio-based crude oil produced with the pulp and fuel concept. The figure shows our part within the structure of the project, whereas the experimental parts give input to our evaluation parts. So why did we do this? We wanted to evaluate if the pulp and fuel concept could be competitive compared to other bio-to-liquid production routes. And the production cost for this Fischer-Tropsch crude was estimated, and it included firstly the investment cost for equipment called the capital expenditure, CAPEX, and it included all installations and support equipment from greenfield to a turnkey plant. And secondly, the operation and maintenance costs during the economic lifetime. That is the operational expenditures called OPEX. And this is including all costs such as labor, electricity, and chemicals. This picture shows the system boundaries that we applied for the techno-economic analysis, because we wanted to include the effects on the pulp mill, such as change in electricity sales and the increased cost of chemical recovery that occurred and the increased cost of wastewater treatment. And this is the assumptions we made. Economic lifetime of 20 years, an interest rate of 5%, an electricity price based on historical figures from France of 58 euros per megawatt hours, and the biomass price based on future scenarios of 20 euros per megawatt hours. So the scenario we looked at was a full-scale plant integrated within a pulp mill, and the production of crude oil would be 143,000 tons per year. And the black liquor input would be 72 tons per hour, and this is with a 15% dry matter. And the bark input would be 122 tons per hour, and this is with 50% dry matter. And it resulted in a total investment cost, the CAPEX, of 270 million euros, and an OPEX of 96 million euros per year, including the annualized CAPEX. And we could actually see an increased electricity sales of 14 million euros per year. The figure shows the distribution of CAPEX on the most expensive units. As you can see, the two gasification units are the most expensive. The results gave us that the production cost for FT crude oil in this case would be about 50 euros per megawatt hour, which corresponds to 0.45 euros per liter. And we could see that the largest impact on the production cost was the biomass price. As seen in this figure, you can see the split of OPEX, and the biomass price, the biomass cost is the green part, which is the largest. And from this FT crude oil, products such as biodiesel, biowax, and bionaphtha can be refined. But we did not include the refinery costs in this calculation, since we assume that we will deliver the crude to our refinery. So when we compared to other studies, such as the European Commission's study of different routes for FT liquid fuels, we end up with a lower production cost. So the conclusions is that the extended system boundaries that we applied have helped us to illustrate the additional downsides and benefits when you integrate the new process at an existing mill. And we also see that further benefits could be added, such as a reduction of the bottleneck in the recovery boiler at the pulp mill. If you reduce the bottleneck, you can increase the pulp production. And finally, we have seen that it's been a great challenge to estimate the cost of emerging technology. So there are large uncertainties regarding CapEx. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Nilay Elginöz, and I'm working as a researcher at IVL Swedish Environmental Research Institute. My expertise is environmental and social sustainability assessment and mainly emerging resource recovery systems. In this project, we have worked in work package 4 to make economic, environmental and social sustainability assessments of the new pulp and fuel process that is developed in the pulp and fuel project. What we wanted to do and why we did that is to find hotspots of environmental and social sustainability and compare different countries in terms of environmental impacts and also for social impacts. In the environmental and social assessment, we have a different system boundary than the economic assessment. In this assessment, we only considered pulp and fuel process and not the pulp mill itself. The reference scenario is black liquor and bark in 1:2 ratio, and the location is in France. Life cycle inventory of life cycle assessment, and we also used it in social life cycle assessment, was generated based on EPFL's process description. Functional unit here is 1 megajoule biodiesel. And the results calculated for more countries than France, which are Sweden, Finland, Germany, and Portugal. We have several products in the pulp and fuel process. So we used energy allocation method to divide environmental impacts and social impacts into those products and co-products. Another assumption was that the wastewater sourced from FT upgrading process can be used as a carbon source in a wastewater treatment plant's denitrification process, which will replace methanol consumption in the denitrification process. Other recovered byproducts are sulfur and waste heat. These byproducts are credited using avoided burden approach. The results of the environmental impact assessment showed us that per 1 megajoule biodiesel, the results, CO2 results differ from 16 to 84 per megajoule, which is lower, all of them is lower than the designated comparator in the RED II directive. The consumption of heat and electricity and also treatment of wastewater are the major contributors to environmental impacts. Since the electricity mixes and the total impacts due to those mixes vary, the contribution of electricity consumption to the environmental impacts, to the total impacts, varies substantially. And this is the reason of the variation of the difference in the CO2 results. If we check the social life cycle assessment results, in all impact categories, they show a similar pattern, where heat production is the main contributor, which is followed by electricity consumption. And the total social impacts in medium risk hours vary substantially for different countries. And what are our conclusions? So there is a dramatic impact on both environmental and social sustainability results if we choose different countries. And it is improved to have better environmental and social impact results for pulp and fuel if we can decrease heat and electricity consumption. And this is a prospective study. Therefore, if or when it is applied, this new process, there should be another life cycle assessment and social life cycle assessment. Thank you.